Hey, y'all. I don't know what in the world I was just doing. Hold up. Can y'all see me? Can y'all see me? Y'all can see me now? Yes. Yes, Pam, you're not live. Am I live now? Okay. I got the 3. Okay, Audrey. Yes. Y'all will not believe. I'm so slow. I did not even realize. Let me tell you what threw me off. Because as the comments was coming in, I was I was talking to y'all. Like I literally, like I'm so slow. I'm literally almost done reading the portion in Owaspy. As the comments was coming in, like I was just saying hey to everybody and just going, I had not clicked the live button. I told you, listen, I'm gonna pull this thing together. I'm not used to. Let me go back. Oh my God. Listen, y'all. Let me start over. Like a whole 30 minutes, y'all was waiting for me to come in. Nobody said, Pam, I can't see you yet. Sis, y'all saw the intro? Did y'all get to see the intro? Did y'all see the intro play? Yo. Listen, Dawn, I've been here. Look, I've been here. Okay, if this happens again, like if we're like 5 minutes, no, let's say if we're 10 minutes over the time we supposed to be starting, somebody say like, Pam, we can't see you if you live. Like, oh my God. Like I literally have been here. And then my mom called me and I was like, no, I see my mama in the stream. So I answered the phone like, hey, like something was wrong because she don't normally call me during the live stream. Dawn, I have been talking for the last, you know what? See, my whole little thing, I don't be talking that much. Y'all probably really don't believe that now because, like, girl, how can you be talking for 30 minutes and not realize people not really interacting with you? I'm like, see, y'all comments was coming in, so I'm used to everybody. I'm just saying hey to everybody as they come in. Y'all ain't heard none of that, huh? I feel so crazy right now. Like, I really need to assess my life. Like, do I really talk a lot? Like, do I talk and not even be paying attention if people can really hear me or not? Yo, this is crazy. Yo, I was having a ball. You know what? See, I'm gonna have to look. I gotta start over. Clearly, I gotta start over. I guess I was just getting my voice ready. This is crazy. This is crazy. Let me take a sip of water. Oh my gosh. All right, let me just go ahead and say everybody. Y'all saw nothing. And so y'all didn't see the okay, well, let's go ahead and play this intro real quick. I'll be right back after these messages. still, look, I'm over here punching the air like, dummy. Look, the other day when I was talking about punching the air with my anger problem, I missed the whole comment that Jamia had made. She said that I need to calm down because I'm punching the angel of air. Look, we had just got done reading You Seen Gospel of Peace, and here I go punching the air. Look, not even thinking about the angel of air. The angel of air probably like, girl, we should be past this slowness point with you. Like, she gonna need a couple more years to go around this because she should be moving a little bit faster. I do need a checklist. I need something. Dana, yo, this is crazy. I can't believe I literally talked. And I thought I started like 7:30. I thought I started on time at 7:30. Like all these other days I was running a few minutes late. The day I'm literally on time and set the stuff up and I ran the first little intro, it didn't dawn on me, hey, sis, click the live button at the top. Look, I'm gonna have to get a piece of paper and tape it right here. Click live button. I'm just like, I'm so embarrassed. Because we was literally about to start the Holy Megillah, y'all. Okay, look, you thought YouTube police got me. Girl, look. Last up, I know, click live. Click live. Y'all would think I would know to do this, and we're about to start year 5 tomorrow. Let's start. Okay. Enough of my shenaniganizing. Hey everybody. Happy Sunday. It is March the 26th, 2023, day 364 of year 4 of reading through books, laws, and prophets. And of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1,383. Today in Owaspy, we're reading chapters 10 and 11, which is on pages 105 to 107. And then we're going to hop on over here to the secret Nazarite scroll, also known as the Holy Megillah. And we're going to pick up in the Nazarene book of Genesis with chapter 4 on page 10. All right, beautiful people. And Father, you know what? I gave a whole beautiful thing this morning. Like, seriously, I was all into it. Clearly, I was just practicing. You know what? Thank you for the beauty of being able to laugh at your mistakes and just keep on moving. Oh, thank you for, because there is a certain beauty in ignorance, but only when you realize how ignorant you are and you fix it. Right? So y'all got to forgive me with my shenanigans. If y'all thought this was about to be some type of professional production, you were in the wrong place. Let me go back and say hey to everybody a second time. Ema, beautiful rising dawn, what's good, sis? Nazarene scene. Faith is created gang in the house. Mom, hey girl, hey, thank you for the call. Otherwise, I'd still be going. Look. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Hannah, shalom. Fritz, what's going on, brother? Uncle JB, shalom. Jamia, hey girl, hey. Derek, shalom. Levon, blessings. Audrey, shalom. Dana, hey girl, hey. Bella, every day she wants to make something new. Y'all, Dana's daughter, she upgraded her cooking supplies and stuff, and Bella loves to cook and bake and stuff. So she got all these gadgets for baking and princess cookie cutters and stuff like that. But instead of using cookies, she liked to bake the cakes and use the cookie cutters to make the princess and all these little things. As soon as they come out the oven, the boys are like, no, let's get a piece. She said, stop. I still have to cut it and put the icing on it. They don't care. They just want to eat it hot out the oven like cornbread. I'm like, you know what? I promise y'all, I didn't think I was raising y'all this way. Like, there's a lot of things happening in my days that make me consider my own ways. And I really should be a better parent, right? I mean, I know. Look, all jokes aside, seriously. That's everybody. Sometimes I'm like, oh, let me get a piece of that too. Look, but thank you, Dana. Let your daughter know she is really, really enjoying it, right? Every day she wants to bake something new or use the Jell-O molds and everything. So, but she is loving it. Ray, hi. Elijah, what's going on, brother? Hold on. Facebook user. I'm sorry. Who Facebook? Y'all still ain't figured it out. I got to go in there. So I don't know. It could be Trina. Trina, is that you? Hey, girl. Hey, we live now. She even texted me. She said, I ain't seen you. Tigva, we done already? No, we not done, Tigva. We just getting started. It's me and my slowness and shenanigans. Audrey said, I just made it in like 10 minutes ago, so I'm excited I didn't miss anything. Look, creator. Thank you for the live buttons. Right. Look, hold on. I think she can see now. I know, but I can't tune in. Can't tune in? Try YouTube. Or the Facebook group. Okay. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get this started. And everybody else here already hanging out in the background. Top of the day. Miss Amazing Wonders. Hey, Nava. Hey, girl. Hey. All right, y'all. Me and my shenanigans. I guess this wouldn't be the same if we didn't have something to shenaniganize about in every video. Okay. Again. Chapter 10, page 105, Book of Apollo. So Apollo visited all the divisions of the earth and the islands in the ocean, and his traveling attendants, companions, and officers made a record of all things they saw, especially those relating to the corporeans, their manners, sizes, color, habits, education, and procreative capacities, and the records were taken with them to be finally carried to Ethera in the coming ascent. And Apollo and his companions then visited Atmosphere, making like observations of the people in the first and second resurrections, recording the number and kind of nurseries, hospitals, factories, schools, and colleges, together with the ASAFs, teachers and physicians, nurses, and so on. And this record was also prepared so as to form a brief history of the earth's heaven. On the 28th day, Apollo and his host returned to Gal, the place of the throne of God in the lower heaven. In the meantime, the word of God, commanding the assembly for the ascent of 2,000 million of Jehovah's brides and bridegrooms, had aroused the people of the lower heaven beyond measure. Millions of them, never having witnessed an ascent, nor in fact had seen an Etherian at a Vasid, a ship of fire. What would be amazing is if we didn't have all the shenanigans here with them covering up the skies, and we can actually really see what is happening, right? I don't think it's just the blocking out of the sun. It's the covering up of things and them trying to keep people from going crazy and mass hysteria. So I get it on that level, but I'm just like, man, just let people be shocked. They'll soon get over it and they'll realize they're not coming to harm us, and it'll be a beautiful thing. And after so long, it'll become normal where we'll actually see, and it'll be easier. Matter of fact, people would not deny there is not a creator. There would be no atheists on the earth if they will stop some of their shenanigans intervening, thinking that they're controlling and keeping down mass hysteria. That's just me. I'll probably be one of the ones. You ever watch a scary movie? I'll probably be one of the people screaming. When it first happened, you know how you watching a scary movie and all of a sudden somebody just starts screaming and they stand there and just scream and scream and scream. And then they take a break and start screaming again. The amazement would probably be so overwhelming that I wouldn't even know nothing else to do. Then I'm going to just lay down and go to sleep because I done tired myself out from yelling like a baby. Wake up. Is it still there? Oh, I done lost my voice. I'm just going to cover myself up. You know how you cover yourself up when you think the boogeyman, or you can pull your feet up under the blankets? Like, they can't just reach up under. If it was really somebody there, like the blanket is really protecting you, it's not, right? That the whole mindset. But it would help people grow leaps and bounds. Am I having deja vu yet? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, let me finish reading. Hold on. Verse 4. On the 29th day, in the evening, a light was seen high up in the firmament, and to the northwest, brilliant like a star of the first magnitude, Presently, it grew larger and brighter and shot across toward the southwest firmament, and then began to ascend toward the earth, growing larger and brighter as it came. The people of the lower heaven knew it was the advocate of the third resurrection, and they rejoiced before Jehovah, singing and praying. And now the marshals and proper persons for the purpose commenced to form the groups of brides and bridegrooms of Jehovah. And the groups were arrayed in stars, crescents, squares, and circles, and ovals, being classified according to their rates in these figures. And the groups had banners and signals of colored lights, according to their rank in love or intelligence or good works or other characteristic virtues. And these groups were arranged into combinations, every combination representing the work done by a sub-lord or sub-god. And these combinations were again formed into 4 divisions, representing the 4 great divisions of the earth and the 4 lords, Jehovah's sons. And in the Bible, we see it, the 4 corners of the earth, or Israel would be scattered to the 4 corners of the earth. And these combinations were again formed into 4 divisions, representing the 4 great divisions of the earth and the 4 lords, Jehovah's son. So that when the whole 2,000 million spirits in due form, they characterized, So that when the whole 2,000 million spirits were in due form, they characterized harmony, symmetry, and music, being the symbol of Apollo, son of Jehovah, god of 3 Ethereal worlds, Brevet Orion Chief, or Brevet Orion Chief. At midnight, the sea of fire, the advocate, reached Chinvat, the border of the Earth's vortex, just beyond the orbit of the moon, and in size twice the moon's diameter. Here the ship halted for 4 hours, and then again began to descend, and rapidly, fearful to behold, becoming more scarlet within the vortex, but growing larger and definite in figure. And lo and behold, when the advocate drew near, it was in the form and figure of the groups of brides and bridegrooms of Jehovah. It had 50,000. Well, why did you run it down the stairs like that? All right, son. All right.
Hold on.
Can you about to give me something that you watching?
Yeah, but I feel like this would need to be seen.
Send that to me. That ain't going nowhere. That is beautiful. What is that? Okay, send that to me. All right. All right, thank you. I'll see it when I get done here. Okay, I'm already half. Look, we can't be out in the streets with bonnets on. You can't put your head in the camera because the video going out in the streets. You remember what Monique said? No, like seriously, I grew up. It's like, what's the difference between your head wrap and a bonnet? Well, everybody know the bonnet is for inside the house and when you go to sleep. Head wrap is something different.
Hey, look, it's like this. And
hold up.
It's not. I don't share that weirdness, but
what you say? You don't share in that weirdness?
Yeah, but look, you about to see what I'm talking about.
Wait, can this wait?
It's gonna be really cool.
Does it have anything to do with? It's gonna be something that ain't got nothing to do with the price of tea in China, right? Possibly. Okay, can we hold that just for a second? We are. It's a class about to graduate from the earth and her heavens. The next set of brides and bridegrooms. Well, not necessarily the next generation of humans, but the next ones that graduate, Can that wait?
That sounds bad. Like, what you mean graduate? They gonna die?
No, son. No.
I'm gonna let you get back to it.
Yeah, thank you. Because I had to explain. That. Trina, girl, you finally made it. Oh my gosh, what was it? Where you coming? You in from YouTube? Okay. I don't know. I'm not sure if you tried it from the backup channel, but I'm in YouTube jail on my backup channel. They got me, sis.
What they do? What you got you for false information?
They got me for medical misinformation. Remember the video that I did with Aaron talking about my nuclear scientist nephew was talking about Aaron? that video. Within that video, I was talking about fruits and veggies and stuff and how it heals the body, but it goes against, hold on, I got my medical disclaimer down here at the bottom. It's right after the copyright, you know. So because it goes against what the CDC put out, and I didn't say this is for educational uses only, don't negate the actual advice of a real certified doctor. I didn't say any of that. Nothing was in my metadata. They got me for medical misinformation and they removed it. Yeah.
I'm gonna say this.
So
all that came into play when the truth started to get ugly. That's when fact checking and all that came into play.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, you can look at it that way. I used to look at it that way, but now we can look at it in a way. They're gonna help us. They're gonna help us be a lot. They'll help us be a lot sharper in what we do, making sure we understand what the rules of engagement are for being on certain places. And I clearly did not understand the rules of engagement, the community rules of YouTube. That's what I'm gonna say, right? I ain't gonna be like y'all just trying to shut me up. I ain't gonna say that.
That's what
I'll say I was lacking information, right? I scrolled through the terms and conditions. Do you agree to all the YouTube rules? Yes. Let me do my video. Didn't read none of it. Hold on.
Oh. People.
And sometimes, yeah, you got to check your notifications and all that stuff because that happened to me. Sometimes YouTube will go, I'll just say, I don't know, maybe we did something, but YouTube will like unsubscribe you from certain channels or whatever. I still don't know why yet because I know one time they did that with Selah. I was like, nah, no, I did not unsubscribe to Selah's channel. So I went back in and had to redo everything, you know. So, but yeah, I still don't understand why that happens. So, but yeah. Okay, so the bonnet is the same, right? The bonnet is the same as the house shoes. Emphasis on house.
See, house shoes is comfortable.
Why are you in the house? If you're going,
but
that's even more ghetto. If you leave outside the house. Out the house, he said, but I wear socks with them. You leaving out the house in house shoes and socks.
It's like,
bruh.
All this going on, man.
You know, Esau and his followers be trying to shut my channel down. I know, right? People be saying all kinds of stuff. Now I look at it, I'm just like, bro, you violating something. You in violation. The man is after me, don't want me to speak the truth. They're trying to shut Jesus down and they ain't gonna be able to do it in the name of the Holy Ghost. Like all this, I'm just like, oh my gosh, go read the community rules. That's what I be doing now the last couple of days. I be watching stuff, be cracking up. I was like, yo, you in violation. Man, they be doing the same thing on Facebook too, right? So that's why in my descriptions, I got to start doing it. I'm just like, yo, so this is why I be talking about people getting super spiritual. And I ain't gonna say no. Just Christians do it, but that's just the group I come from, and I know the type of shenanigans we pull and how we blame everything on the devil and everybody trying to shut you up from speaking the name of Jesus. See, this is the last days, and I'm just like, I felt all of that kick in as they was messing with my videos. Like, girl, listen, what did you learn? Look, my Shar speaking to me in the background. Okay. Oh, great teacher. What did you learn when you was going through your Hebrew roots phase? What did you say that Yah desired of you to do? To be responsible, to grow up and take responsibility for my own actions. Well, did you read the YouTube guidelines? Oh, great teacher. No, I didn't. You're the one in the wrong. Go fix it. Take responsibility for what you did when you first started your YouTube channel. When you just scrolled through everything, you didn't read through nothing. You were just so excited to start doing videos that you just agreed to everything without reading what was required of you. I'm just like, you right. Yeah, look, just on the safe side, start using disclaimers. They ain't got to be all extra long like mine. I probably am going overboard, right? Because well, some channels I do, they have a scrolling thing down at the bottom, you know. And I don't think it has to scroll the entire time. From what I understand, it doesn't have to scroll the entire time. It just has to be in there long enough for the algorithm to pick it up, to let to let YouTube's computer and algorithm know that you're in compliance. So you can say it, you can scroll it, because they pick up sounds, pictures, everything. So it has to go in there, especially because it's going to pick up you talking about medical information, fruits, curing diseases, all of this stuff. And it's going to bounce it against what the CDC says. And if, like, they set all this up in the background with computers and stuff, with AI technology, I'm just like, yo. And if you, okay, so it's rules set. If you hear this, but don't hear this, flag the video, right? Because YouTube trying to keep their site up, right? They can offer all of this stuff for us for free, you know, but we have to follow their guidelines. And if you go to YouTube's channel, like the official creators of YouTube, they have a channel, and they literally have all of these videos explaining to you if your video gets flagged, or if you get a copyright strike, or if we put you in jail, this is what could have happened. Here is how you fix. Like, they're literally telling you what to do to fix it, so you can keep your videos up. I'm just like, man. And sometimes I be coming down on YouTube like I be coming down on the Christians. But it's me. I'm the ignorant one, right? Listen. Oh, I came across some Jehovah's Witnesses yesterday, and he tried to challenge my thinking. Then he asked if Jesus died for my sins. I said, oh no. Then he said, I can't help you, and close this stuff. Yeah, that'll get them, because they ain't prepared to deal with all of that, right? And especially if you firm, oh no, he ain't died for my sins. You know, it's like, oh, we don't really know how to defend. Wait, what did we learn? Is there anything in the manual? Hold on, let me see. Hold on, let me check with Joseph Smith real quick. All right, ma'am, you have a wonderful day. Then they walking away. Man, what we supposed to say to that? I told y'all about a story. I forget what video is on, when we had 2 Jehovah's Witnesses come to our door, and my husband said, talk to him today. I was like, you know what? We got time today, don't we? Matter of fact, this was when that video, we were still over in the townhouse with my little yellow background, sitting in the kitchen with my yellow walls. It was one of them videos. That day was hilarious. Them boys were sweating. So I'm out there talking to them. And I think we had started reading Owaski too, so I was asking them questions. And then the younger boy, you could tell that the younger guy was in training with the older guy. So my husband standing right there. I'm like, well, yeah. So, well, what about this? And the one, yeah. The older one did, but the young one, he start when he was listening to me and the questions I was asking and the wisdom that I was learning from Owaski, he was like, oh, and what's that book called again? And then look, me and my husband standing right here, and so the guy that's in training, look, he's standing beside me and my husband. So yeah, what about that? What do we learn about this? What does Joseph Smith teach us about that? Okay, where you get this book from? You can order from Amazon. Look, I probably converted one of their disciples to a Owaski that day. Look, okay, let me get back to this reading, y'all. Hold on. Huh? I said only if that was Jamal. Oh, have you talked to him? Yo, he gun ho about JC. I have not talked to him. Yeah. He has not talked to him. Yeah, we know his thinking. We used to be cool back then. Like, I saw how he got, like, bro, homie is a list. Hey, babe. Okay, y'all, let me get back to my reading. Okay. This man has church socks on almost every day of the week. That's how you know somebody religion. They got church socks on there. Jeremiah said he got church socks on there every day of the week. My husband said, dang, that's how you know somebody religious. You wore them to school too? We always used to say every Sunday have a whole little FaceTime of random people to do the word. I was like, yeah, you're doing too much now, Bucko. He said, yeah, now you're doing too much, Bucko. Like, yeah. Oh, MG. Okay, y'all. Let's finish this so we can get into the Megillah. Hold on. Look. Hold on. What broke? Hold on. Let me just start at verse 9. Verse 9, page 106. We're in chapter 10 of Book of Apollo. In the Wasp. Okay. Verse 9. Unlike all other Etherian ships of fire that had yet visited the earth's heavens, it was provided with openings in the bottom, 500,000 in number, which were the places of entrance and exit. and the openings were studded with crystals of ceaseless fire of all conceivable colors, shades, tints, and sizes and figures, curves, circles, angles, crescents, and so on. And up within the openings were the crystal and opaque chambers provided for the heirs of the third resurrection. And yet within these chambers were the reports of guardian angels. Y'all just making all kinds of noise.
I don't want to buy another. I don't want to buy another.
Okay, y'all done? Are you done? Okay, hold on. And up within the openings were the crystal and opaque chambers provided for the heirs of the third resurrection. And yet within these chambers were the reports of the guardian angels of the lives and good work heretofore done by every man and woman of all the 2,000 million who were to ascend to Jehovah's higher heavens. Jeremiah, can you just stop putting dishes away? Just till I get done. I promise you ain't nobody gonna touch them. Okay. Ain't nobody gonna touch them. All right. But in all the records, there was not one record. There was not one, hold on. But in all the records, there was not recorded one evil thing or dark deed or selfish thought. For of these things, as ascended hosts had, for of these things, the ascended hosts had long since purged themselves, since there were gems of pure light of the Father of all. High up within the ship were the beams and network of timber and ropes and arches, and around about the whole ship was a photosphere of its power, so that the whole Atavacid was like a crystal ship within a globe of phosphorescent light. And yet, in fact, the ship was true light, and the angels, the light of that light, whilst the photosphere was really the shell of darkness made reflective. So the ship was so huge, I mean, like long and high, that it literally covered the sky. And if we had one over our sky, we wouldn't even be able to tell it was there, first of all, because it's transparent, right? But also with the shenanigans here, they cover up the sky. So some things that we do actually catch glimpses of, they explain it away, right? Oh, Photoshop. You know, it's really easy to blame things on Photoshop now, although some things are Photoshop, right? But not all of them. If we know that there is definitely something going on in the heavens above us, I guarantee you one thing, we would not have any atheists, right? Even if they didn't believe in the creator, they would know that there is something bigger than us. OCU, how can a man transmit such information? The angels for sure typed it for him. Right, I know, right? Exactly. This type of information definitely had to come from a higher being, right? Okay. This then was the size of the Atavacid, 2,000 miles east and west, north and south diameters, and 7,000 miles high. And the ship within it was 100 miles east and west, and north and south diameters, and 200 miles high. As the earth is opaque with the transparent vortex around it, so not so, but opposite is the structure of an Etherian Atavacid, being light and habitable within as well as without, like the Etherian worlds in the firmament. As Jehovah maketh worlds and sendeth them forth in the places of his firmament, so in imitation of him, his Etherian gods and goddesses make Atavacids to traverse space from star to star, from one Etherian region to another. Great in wisdom and power are Jehovah's Etherian gods and goddesses, yet they too were once but men and women with corporal bodies. Jehovah said, I have given power to spirits of the newly dead to clothe themselves from the atmosphere with corporal semblances of flesh and blood. And to my exalted atmospherian angels, I have given power to clothe themselves from eth, or the ether, in forms of light. But to my exalted Etherian angels, I have given power to clothe their host with ships of fire and otivans and atavases. Chapter 11, that's the last chapter we're going to read before we jump over here to the Holy Megillah. Siventi, marshalless for the host of Apollo, with 10,000 marshals and 50,000 respondents of ceremonies, made ready to receive the host of Atavases, commanded by Semiad, goddess of Diugi, and Athera, goddess of Noad and Rock, in Gia 38, well known to Apollo, and to Phasia, god of Norse, long residence of in Ethera. Semiad was a small woman, dark and of deep love, most jovial of goddesses, and had long looked forward with joy to her pleasure of bringing so large a ship to deliver 2,000 million of Jehovah's brides and bridegrooms into Etherian worlds. And so, excuse me. And so, when the Atavasit was about to land in Gal, Semiad looked out from the clusters of central stars, the ornaments of the throne within the ship, to see the hosts who were assembled beneath, and joyously clapped her hands with delight, whereupon she was saluted by Apollo and Phasia, and by God and his lords. Presently, the mighty vessel landed and anchored fast, and the ship of Apollo was moved up aside and made fast to the Atavasit. Meantime, Semiad came forth out of the ship and was received in the arms of Siventi, marshalless of Apollo, and then proceeded to the throne of God. All the while, the musicians had been playing and singing, and the music of the lower heaven was thus united with the music of the upper heaven. God said, "Welcome, O daughter of Jehovah. Come thou and honor my throne in his name." Semiad said, "By the grace and love of Jehovah am I come, O God, and to thee, O Apollo, most wonderful of earthborn gods. How can I express my boundless love? And to thee, O Phasia, long enduring son of Jehovah, my soul is as a twin for the glory of our everlasting creator. Behold, I am come in Jehovah's name to wed these 2,000 million brides and bridegrooms to Jehovah." Phasia said, "Thy will and Jehovah's will be done." And now they shook hands, as is the custom of gods and goddesses, and Semiad went and sat on the throne, saluting all the assemblage by making the sign of Jehovah's name with her right hand, which was answered by 3,000 million spirits, or the graduating class of bride and bridegrooms, right? And now the musicians played and sang the stars of Jehovah. Meanwhile, the all-light, or creator, began to descend thick and fast on Semiad's head, so brilliant that many could not look thereon. And Jehovah spake through Semiad, saying, "I blow my breath upon a corporal world, and man springeth forth into life, the highest of my created lights. In the womb of me," or the room of my is another name for earth. I think it's me. Hold on. "In the womb of me, I fashioned his spirit. When he is shapely and white, I deliver him. I open the heaven of suns and warm his soul. Brighter than diamonds, he cometh forth. Male and female come they as stars for my everlasting worlds." Right? Because remember, we are lights, but listen, this is how a star is born. We are literally stars, and we gain in light as we grow and we go through this realm. And then once we pass from this realm to the next realm, which on this side, we call it death here, but they call it birth into life on the fully alive spirit side, or the eternal side. When you pass over into eternity, they're waiting there for you to enter into life. It's like the mother giving birth again, right? You got the doctors or the father there waiting to receive the child. That's what's happening when we're exiting the womb of our earthly mother, right? Hopefully you ain't stillborn, or they got remedial classes for you. Listen, let me go back and get serious. The creator speaking. Meanwhile, the all light began to descend thick and fast on Semiad's head, so brilliant that many could not look thereon. And Jehovah spake through Semiad, saying, "I blow my breath upon the corporal world, and man springeth forth into life, the highest of my created lights. In the womb of me I fashioned his spirit. When he is shapely and white, I deliver him. I open the heavens of sun. I open the heaven of suns and warm his soul. Brighter than diamonds, he cometh forth. Male and female come they as stars for my everlasting worlds. Shine bright like a diamond. Dressed as brides and bridegrooms for my chambers of light and love. In my arms, they shall be blessed forever. In my mansions, rejoice forever. The respondent said, hold on, I need another sip of water. My voice is cracking. Hold on. Okay. The respondent said, being led by the Ethereal host, I am thy bride or bridegroom, O Jehovah. My soul findeth love in thee only forever. Thou, my Father, O Jehovah, I come to thee to abide forever. From me, my mother, the earth, who conceived me, I rise up and go forever. All praise to thee, O Jehovah, and to thee, O God of earth and heaven, and to ye, O lords of the earth, praise forever. Thy lords, O Jehovah, raise me up. How can I render them joy for my stubbornness of heart, and thy God for my second resurrection? Hast thou made us brothers and sisters, O Jehovah, and given me a higher world to abide in forever? O joy of my soul. Excuse me. Oh, I still ain't cleared up yet. Hold on. O joy of my soul, to thee am I beholden, O Father, everlasting creator. Jehovah said, behold me, O brides and bridegrooms. I am the all that is within all and over all. Members of my body, members of my body are all things under the sun, seen and unseen, boundless forever. I give them to you for your inheritance forever. And then their response to the great creator. Hold on, y'all. Hate that. Okay. The artist, hey girl, hey. Okay. Here we go. Verse 18. Okay. The creator just spoke, and now the graduating class is responding to him. Right? Response. Who can give like unto thee, O Jehovah? Not only gavest thou myself, but sent thy gods and lords to teach me how to live, to enjoy thy fullness forever. I will rise to thy immortal kingdoms and learn the mysteries of thy glory and wisdom, O Jehovah. And when I am strong, I will go forth to them who are beneath me and raise them up to rejoice forever. Jehovah said, laborers with me, helpmates and companions forever. With ye I wed from everlasting to everlasting. Response. With thee we wed, helpmates forever, in the glory of thy worlds without end. Jehovah said, mine are all harmony, all symmetry, all love, and will endure forever. Response. When I was in darkness, I fed on hate and anger and war and lust. But thou hast taught me harmony, symmetry, and love, and I shall indulge in them forever. Jehovah said, receive ye my mantles and my crowns, O my beloved. The darkness is come and gone. The rain is dried up, and my flowers are blooming for you, my beloved. Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Let me read that again. Listen. Hold on. Verse 24. And literally, this is the last couple. Excuse me. This is the last couple verses. Jehovah said, receive ye my mantles and my crowns, O my beloved. The darkness is come and gone. The rain is dried up, and my flowers are blooming for you, my beloved. Response. Glory be to thee, my creator and preserver. All hail to thy wondrous works, O Jehovah. In all my giving, I cannot attain to thee forever. Thy crown shall shine in my behavior, world without end. Amen. 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 That's what they just said, something. He said, the crown that you give me is going to shine in my behavior. Think about that. I like that. Listen, I did not catch that the first time we read through this. Listen. Verse 25. Response. Glory be to thee, my creator and preserver. All hail to thy wondrous works, O Jehovah. In all my giving, I cannot attain to thee forever. Thy crown shall shine in my behavior, world without end. Amen, amen, amen. Jehovah, thou art mine forever. Amen. I am thine, O Jehovah, forever. Amen, amen. All right, beautiful people. And that is the end of chapter 11. That was beautiful. All right, y'all. So that was pages 105 to 107, chapter 10 and 11 in the book of Apollo. So let's switch the big books out. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Secret Nazarite scroll. Simea had always been one of your favorite females in Owaspy. Okay, Tabitha. All right, so Nazarene scene. I know you was probably asking what page that was while we were still reading that, but now we're in the Holy Megillah. So in the Holy Megillah, I remember I'm reading from the most recent updated version that they just put out earlier this year. And chapter 4 of the Nazarene book of Genesis starts on page 10 here. But if you have the older one, just go to chapter 4, Nazarene book of Genesis in your version, right? Okay. So it's entitled The Divine Plan of Jah. All right. Together, they considered the divine plan of creation. Yea, together, they conceived this plan. Jah and Jah said, we will create a universe of space, time, number, letter, form, elements, and principles. It will be a place of play, learning, and work for our children. And they talking about the earth realm here, right? A place for play, work, and learning. Okay. Jah and Jah said, we will create a universe of space, time, number, letter, form, elements, and principles. It will be a place of play, learning, and work for our children. This universe will be Begotten, which is the mother ovum, and will enfold countless ovums. And after Begotten is a reference number 1. And down at the bottom of the page, reference number 1 says, the Hebrew word means M means mother. The Hebrew word for Betzah means ovum or egg. Okay, go back up. Verse 6. No, I'm sorry. Verse 5. Let me just go back to 4. I'm going to read 4 again. This universe will be the Betzah, which is the mother ovum, and will enfold countless ovums. And each species will evolve within a group ovum. And each individual of each species will evolve within its own Betzah Ha-Or, which is an ovum of light. And after Betzah Ha-Or is reference number 2, which we also read this yesterday in the other chapter. And it says the Hebrew term Betzah Ha-Or means ovum of light. Verse 7. And our universe will be governed by law that is just and merciful. Yea, the justice of Jah.
These don't work. Dang it.
My husband set my truck alarm off. Okay. And our universe will be governed by law that is just and merciful. Yea, the justice of Jah shall be tempered with mercy. And after Jah is reference number 3. And down at the bottom, the reference number 3 says, the term Jah is a short form of Jah and Jah-La. How many of y'all knew that? Like y'all hear like people in the islands, they refer to Yah as Jah, or they say Jah. Now they may know, but I didn't know. I just thought they were saying it twice, like yes, like John. Like literally, my dad called my brother. You just repeat the first name twice, John. That's his nickname, right? So I thought they just did the same thing for Yah. Like I was like, but why I never hear them say Yah? I heard a lot of people say Jah. I had no understanding of that. I'm not even sure if they do. They probably do. I'm just the one lacking information here. Listen, girlfriend, the book was in Trinidad since December, but I didn't see my phone number. This was the holdback all this time. Hold on. Wait. Oh, you talk to Jamil. Hold on. Okay. Oh, you talking about your radiance, what you finally got it. Okay. All right. I come in the conversation all the way down. Look, okay. Listen. Okay. Let me read that again. Reference number 3. The term Jaja is a short form of Jala, like Jala. The term Jaja is used when referring to both Ja and Jala at the same time. All right. So go back to verse 7. And our universe will be governed by law that is just and merciful. Yea, the justice of Jah shall be tempered with mercy. Right? So it's just not going to be a whole masculine wave across the earth. It's going to be balanced with masculine and feminine. And Jah and Jala is a perfect balance of masculine and feminine together. Right? So Jah, I like that. I might start using Jah. Okay. Verse 8, and we will grant the great freedom to all beings, which is freedom of choice, yea, even the freedom to make unwise choices, for we desire friendship with beings who choose our fellowship. Ain't that a whole lot different from people scaring you into doing stuff to worship Jesus? Like, I don't get a choice in this. I got to, or I'm going to hell. Okay, so I guess you're just going to make me choose heaven because I really don't want to burn in hell forever as a spirit. Like, we don't even consider that. Like, how does a spirit burn? Isn't a spirit light? How does it burn? Look, balance is the key. Look, that's our slang in the Caribbean, Jaja. Listen, verse 8, and we will grant the great freedom to all beings, which is freedom of choice, yea, even the freedom to make unwise choices, for we desire friendship with beings who choose our fellowship. But with the great freedom comes, and we know, look, this is the theme of my life, the great responsibility. But with the great freedom comes the great responsibility. Behold, by the thoughts, words, and deeds of each being, each shall rise or fall upon the golden ladder. Listen to this. The golden ladder is reference number 4. And down at the bottom, reference 4 says, Hebrew, Salam Zahav. Zahav means golden. Sulam, Zahav, which is Zahav. Zahav means golden. Sulam, Sullam. Sulam means ladder. In Hebrew, the noun comes before the adjective, Sulam Zahav. But in English, we say golden ladder, putting the adjective before the noun. So go back up. But with the great freedom comes the great responsibility. Behold, by the thoughts, words, and deeds of each being, each shall rise or fall upon the golden ladder. And that ladder is the ladder of being, B-E-I-N-G, being. Yea, each thought, word, and deed in harmony with the laws of Jaja shall result in the expansion of consciousness and bliss. I'll read that again. Yea, each thought, word, and deed in harmony with the laws of Jaja shall result in the expansion of consciousness and bliss. But lo, the reverse is also true. For just as one may climb the golden ladder with thoughts, words, and deeds in harmony with the laws of Jaja, one descends the ladder with every thought, word, and deed not in harmony with the laws of Jaja. We were just learning about harmony, symmetry, and music here in Owaspy, right, with Apollo. Some laws of Jaja pertain to every ovum. Some pertain only to specific ovums. Yet in each ovum, the law that pertain, hold on, let me go back. Some laws of Jaja pertain to every ovum. Some pertain only to specific ovums. Yet in each ovum, the laws that pertain shall be readily ascertainable. For behold, as one lives up to the light one has, one shall be given greater light. Doesn't Owaski say that? Not in those exact words, but it says that, right? As you begin to progress, more light, more understanding will be poured out unto you. It's about ever progressing, constant progression, growing up, right? Getting better. Listen. Some laws of Jaja pertain to every ovum. Some pertain only to specific ovums. Yet in each ovum, the laws that pertain shall be readily ascertainable. For behold, as one lives up to the light one has, one shall be given greater light. And each shall be responsible to live up to the light that they have, right? Or operating in your highest light. So that's what Owaski says, operate in your highest light. And the light they have is that portion of law that has been revealed to them. And these laws are within each being, for they are encoded into the very fabric of being. And when one has learned the required lessons of one ovum, one will graduate to the next, right? And when one of our children pierces the shell of the mother ovum, that child shall have returned to the Godhead, which is heaven most high. That child shall see Jaja face to face outside the shell of the mother ovum. That child shall be our friend and companion in a new and special way. For that child has made the ring of return and is now our playmate and co-worker. Right? It's the same thing in Owaski. As you pierce the mother ovum, and that you pierce the mother ovum, well, you pierce the ovum of the mother, like on multiple levels, right? You pierce the ovum of your flesh mother, and then you're born into the earth, and then you pierce the ovum of the earthly mother, and then you're born in spirit fully. We call it death here, but it's called life when you enter there, right? You got the multiple levels that you go, and as you grow, and as you go up, the more you learn, the better you become. You come back and you help also to help raise others up. You become a co-worker, right, with your brethren and your sister and with the great creator to raise up his children, right? Listen. And when one of our children pierces the shell of the mother ovum, that child shall have returned to Godhead, which is heaven most high. That child shall see Jaja face to face outside the shell of the mother ovum. That child shall be our friend and companion in a new and special way. For that child has made the ring of return and is now our playmate and co-worker. Yea, that child shall enjoy a time of bliss and fellowship with Jah-La. And such a child is never more required to return to the mother ovum, but may choose to return as a worker of Jah, which is a hand of mercy, right? So they return here, help. You got Ashars, Asaphs. I don't think, they can. Listen to this, because this is where the false gods and false lords come in, right? Listen. Look. Hold on. Yea, that child shall enjoy a time of bliss and fellowship with Jah-La, and such a child is never more, and it has all caps, never more required to return to the mother ovum, but may choose to return as a worker of Jah, which is a hand of mercy, right? You can return here and help as you become an Asaph, Ashar, and all that, helping the mortals unseen. Or you can also come back or choose not to come back. You just do what you want to do. You can stay out there in atmosphere or whatever, and you can be a vagabond. Like all of these things, Owaski explains it a little bit different, but it's still along the same lines. Okay. Yea, that child shall enjoy a time of bliss and fellowship with Jah-La, and such a child is never more required to return to the mother ovum, but may choose to return as a worker of Jah, which is a hand of mercy. For the harvest shall be great, but the workers are few. Jah and Jala deeply contemplated their plan, they realized that the great freedom could result in great pain, for not every being will choose wisely. Yet they also knew that without freedom, there would be no opportunity for their children to learn and grow. And so they agreed. We must remain outside of the mother ovum, for it is we who will give life to the mother ovum. Yes, we will give life to the mother ovum by surrounding it at its circumference, that it may expand into us. And lo, if we abandon the circumference, the ovum will surely die. Therefore, we will remain at the circumference in heaven most high, and each being who pierces the shell of the mother ovum will enter heaven most high. But we who make the decision to grant the great freedom realize that great pain may result in desire to be with our children, even within the mother ovum. And though we cannot abandon the circumference, neither shall we abandon our children. Thus, Jah and Jala will each emanate a portion of ourselves to represent us in the mother ovum. All right. And that was actually the end of chapter 4. What do they mean by see the face? What they mean by see Jah face to face? I think there's multiple levels. I'm knowing what I know from a WASPy and the levels of growth. Like, you think when you die, boom, we're in the presence of the Father. It's not like that. There's still like multiple levels and stuff. So I think the closer you get, the more you can understand and you can see. But you don't actually get face to face to the Creator. Like, there's always, even through a WASPy, I think even all the way through, it leads us all the way up to where you can actually become a creator yourself, right? So where you're actually not just, we get that practice now where we're creating children, but you will actually be able to create worlds, and you will be the creator of that world. Not that you are the creator of all the worlds and everything created, but you will also become a creator, and people will know you as creator of their current world, right? So WASPy leads us up to that portion, and there's and it talks about multiple levels even above that, right? Then we get a glimpse of that in the books of the prophets in the Bible. Eye has not seen nor fathomed the things that I have in store for those that love me, right? So seeing face to face, as we go through here, you're going to begin to understand, because it's going to explain this, right? So just bear with us. Hold some of the questions, because I have read up a little bit through it, and it's going to explain it just a little bit better, right? Okay. Hold on. This says John WASPy who became a high. No, just keep listening, right? It's going to start explaining. I think the mother ovum could be the third or the second resurrection. I think piercing the mother ovum is literally after the third resurrection, when you graduate into ethera. That's what I'm thinking, because the earthly mother is the earth, but she also has heavens, right? The first resurrection, or the first heaven, second heaven, third heaven, and you can resurrect from each one. I think piercing the mother ovum, it means like piercing like the brides and the bridegrooms, right? I think it's the brides and the bridegrooms. Family member Haja and WASPy. It could be talking about Haja, right? Haja, they call Haja Jah as well, right? Matter of fact, that's who Jah is. Haja. He was a really righteous, one of our righteous brethren. He was a high ranking, right? So here, when it pierces the mother ovum, I'm thinking it's the third resurrection, or graduation of the bride and bridegrooms, if I'm understanding this correctly, right? But I haven't finished reading all the way through, but with all that I understand now, that's what I'm thinking. You pierce that one, that you graduated from earth and her heavens, and you're now in ethera, and you're higher raised, right? And there are levels there. Okay. What we at? 9:05. We've been here what? We only been here an hour because my whole 30-minute shenanigans thinking I was live. We're gonna keep going. All right, y'all. Chapter 5. Listen to this. This is an interesting chapter. Facebook user Shalom. I'm not sure who that is because I ain't fixed the settings yet for it. So you got to tell us who you are, Facebook user. All right, y'all. Chapter 5, page 13 in the newer version. And it's entitled The Only Begotten Son and Daughter, Jade and Janah. Right? Okay. Verse 1. Yea, Jah would emanate a portion of himself, which will be the first son of Jah, and Jalah will emanate a portion of herself, which will be the first daughter of Jalah. And that right there brings a big divide between the whole woman coming out of the man's rib. Like that's a truly an impossibility. And I get that the creator God can do anything, but that's a bunch of garbage because he's not violating rules that he set in place. Now that I know there are rules and things that he set in place, and he doesn't violate it for the sake of I'm bad and I can do what I want to do. But I'm trying to teach y'all something because you will be one day doing the things that I'm doing now. And he has to set a proper precedence, a proper order of things, right? For us to learn. He can't set out rules and just keep changing the rules like, won't we do it this way? Now we do it this way. Unless they are higher. When he creates new rules, they supersede a lower level rule, but it doesn't discard it at all because they all still work in tandem. You can just find better, quicker, faster ways to do certain things, just like flying. Now, for the sake of terms, I'm going to use the word gravity, right? Planes violate the law of gravity, but not necessarily violate. It operates on a higher level without destroying that lower level other people are operating on. It just finds a higher level to go to accomplish its purpose. It uses lift and thrust, right? And the different things to take you to higher levels. It's the same thing with spiritual laws, right? And as you grow, you realize you don't violate other laws that have been set in place, but you learn, you become more aware and you learn a little bit more. And you learn higher ways that you can build upon this law to accelerate you a little bit higher or climb up them stairs, them ladders, the ladder of light, right? So listen. Yea, Jah will emanate a portion of himself, which will be the first son of Jah. And Jalah will emanate a portion of herself, which will be the first daughter of Jalah. And the first son of Jah will be the only son of Jah, directly begotten by Jah. And the first daughter of Jalah will be the only daughter of Jalah, directly begotten by Jalah. For the first son and first daughter shall be the masculine archetype and the feminine archetype through which all other beings shall be created. Thus shall the first son of Jah be the father of all within the mother ovum, but the son of Jah in heaven most high. And thus the first daughter of Jalah be mother of all within the mother ovum, but daughter of Jalah in heaven most high. And the name of the first son, who is the father within the mother ovum, shall be Jade. Let me read that again. And the name of the first son, who is the father within the mother ovum, shall be Jade. And after Jade is reference number 1. Down at the bottom, it says Jade means Jah guide. In later biblical Hebrew, a version of this name was pronounced Jah-da-e, but in Nazarene ancient vibration, which is the pronunciation we use, it is pronounced Jade. And he will also be called Oholiab, for he is the tent of his father, and he shall be called Emmanuel, for he is God immanent in creation, and he will be called many names in many worlds. And so up at the beginning of verse 8, Oholiab it has reference number 2. And down at the bottom, it says, Oholiab means tent of my father. And then after Emmanuel is reference number 3. And 3 at the bottom says, Emmanuel means God with us or God imminent. Y'all funny. And in the name, hold on. And the name of the first daughter, who is the mother within the mother ovum, shall be Janah, and she will be called Oholibah, for she is the tent of her mother, and she shall be called Emmanuelah, for she is goddess imminent in creation, and she shall be called many names in many worlds. Okay, so you go back. And Janah has reference number 4. And 4 at the bottom says, Janah is a Nazarene feminine form of the Hebrew name Jonah, which means dove. By spelling and pronouncing the Hebrew word Jonah as Janah, which is according... Which look for? Okay, let me start it over. Janah is a Nazarene feminine form of the Hebrew name Jonah, which means dove. By spelling and pronouncing the Hebrew word Jonah as Janah, which is according to ancient vibration, the Nazarenes were declaring that she is the dove of Jah. This is why in biblical literature, the Holy... What? Listen, clearly this is the first time this footnote kicked in because I'm reading it out. Listen, hold up. Listen to this. Let me read it over. Janah is a Nazarene feminine form of the Hebrew name Jonah, which means dove. By spelling and pronouncing the Hebrew word Jonah as Janah, which is according to ancient vibration, the Nazarenes were declaring that she is the dove of Jah. This is why in biblical literature, the Holy Spirit is often symbolized as a dove. They put it right in your face and we still don't understand it, right? These secret societies and Constantine and his group of folk. Okay, listen. Reference number 5 is after Oholibah. Oholibah means my tent is in her. And then Emmanuelah has reference number 6, and 6 at the bottom of page 14 says, Emmanuelah means goddess with us or goddess imminent. And she shall be called Emmanuelah, for she is goddess imminent in creation, and she shall be called many names in many worlds. And because the first son is directly emanated by Jah, and the first daughter is directly emanated by Jah, and they are not the fruit of intercourse of Jah, the son and the daughter are not eligible. Hold on, let me go back and read it again. And because the first son is directly emanated by Jah, and the first daughter is directly emanated by Jah, and they are not the fruit of intercourse of Jah, the son and the daughter are eligible for intercourse with each other. Otherwise, such intercourse of the divine masculine and divine feminine would be incest and would be unlawful. Boom. Let me read it one more time. Got it. Okay. Now, if that was made clear in Genesis, we wouldn't have this whole creation that's created by incest. That's why everybody crazy. Listen. And because the first son is directly emanated by Jah, and the first daughter directly emanated by Jah, and they are not the fruit of intercourse of Jah, the son and the daughter are eligible for intercourse with each other. Otherwise, such intercourse of the divine masculine and divine feminine would be incest and would not be lawful. Since there was, and remember, we got to remember what it says at the beginning. The first beings, they weren't encapsulated in flesh. They were direct. They were like spirit. So yes, you can. You can't listen. Think about this. Look, I'm just thinking about this in a totally different way. Okay, so when they first created, when Jah directly emanated a son from him, that's like spirit of his spirit, just emanate, boom, there you go, right? Your body is a light body. Jala does the same thing, boom, feminine radiance, essence, boom, emanate from me. And now we have a daughter there, right? Because of the laws, right? They understood clearly the Ein Sof, realm of infinite possibilities, right? Ein Sof, we learned about that yesterday. They looked into Ein Sof and they understood all of these laws, right? They created all the laws and they didn't violate them. They just superseded them, right? So because of the law of incest, and we can't come together and have them because the children that emanate from actual coming together with these laws, it violates and it's considered incest. So I have to directly emanate him from me, and you have to directly emanate her from you. That way, when they come together, they won't have the same, for lack of better words this morning, they won't have the same bloodline, so to speak, which makes them eligible to come together like this and begin to reproduce, right? Okay. I don't know if they didn't have a belly button. They probably didn't because they were light. And look, listen, hold on. Let's just hold some of the stuff that we didn't learn while we go through this. And I think it's going to make it just a little bit clear, right? Okay, hold on. Listen. Okay. Verse 15. And because the first son is directly emanated by Jah, and the first daughter is directly emanated by Jah, and they are not the fruit of intercourse of Jah, the son and the daughter are eligible for intercourse with each other. Otherwise, such intercourse of the divine masculine and divine feminine would be incest and would be unlawful, which is why Jah himself emanated Jade without intercourse with Jala, and why Jala herself emanated Jana without intercourse from Jah. Let me read this and then I must tell you what I was about to say a second ago. Hold on. So after Jah, it's reference number 7 at the bottom. And 7 says, this is the ancient origin of the legend of the virgin birth that appears in so many world religions. All of those legends and myths are rooted in this most ancient account of the virgin birth of Jade and Jana. Now listen, what I was about to say before I gave my little expounding on the incest thing. Think about it now, right? Think about spirits. You can literally, matter of fact, the Legends of the Jews talks about this, how you can literally emanate spirits from yourself. That's what was happening when the story in the garden, the story about Adam and Eve in the garden and Lilith, and all the spirits that was emanating from them and all the children that were being created from them, right? And depending on your state of mind, your energy, what you emanate and what flows from you and you put out will be a reproduction of you. Now, it could be bad seed, it could be good seed, but we literally do. And we call it energy. We call it energy, but I think if we really understood what we're giving off and how we affect people, the transference of spirit or whatever, you come in here, you all pissed, now the whole house is pissed. You didn't literally emanate spirits from you, and it's now attacking other people. Or you can emanate joy, and you can also do the reversal and clear out the bad energy. Or you can bring them dark children that somebody just created. You can bring them in line with the light, and you can control the atmosphere. Right. So we can see how the virgin conception probably came about. Right now, I'm almost certain this is how, but they didn't, Constantine and them, they didn't chop and screwed up stuff and splice stuff and put this piece with that, and it's all out of order. And it's like, it don't make sense. How can you do that? Because we're missing all of the other stuff that comes along with it. Right. This makes that make sense now. It really does. Audrey said, like off the movie Soul, when she was able to turn her spirit body into anything and make multiple versions of herself. Exactly, Audrey. Right? It's just like that. Look, if y'all haven't watched Soul, go watch Soul. Matter of fact, when Soul came out, we were reading Legends of the Jews, literally going through that section. Like the first time they showed that preview was like the day before. Then we read that, I never forget it. We read that section about how spirits are created. I'm just like, yo. And then Disney released the I said, have y'all seen this preview for this movie called Soul? I said, and at that point I said, somebody must have been reading Legends of the Jews, because they literally made this just like what this talks about. And of course, at the time I was still kind of Hebrew roots a little bit. I was like, so they be stealing our stuff, putting it in movies, putting it in music. We ain't getting credit for it. Like, you're gonna see some of them shenanigans too. So just bear with us, sister. Watch my growth part, my progression of growth throughout all my videos, y'all. Okay, look, let's go back. Verse 16. Hold on. Let me go back. Let me go to 15. And because the first son is directly emanated by Jah, and the first daughter is directly emanated by Jah, and they are not the fruit of intercourse of Jah, the son and the daughter are eligible for intercourse with each other. Otherwise, such intercourse of the divine masculine and divine feminine would be incest and would be unlawful, which is why Jah himself emanated Jade without intercourse with, hold up. Something else just clicked. I have a whole book that teaches you how to, Lord have mercy. Let me, okay. Yo, wait a minute. Now, disclaimer. Disclaimer. I want y'all to hear me. Disclaimer. I am not telling y'all. Some of y'all may already have it. It's one of the books within the Gallery of Magic. And me and my sister was talking about this. They call it something else. But in here, like all of this just clicked. I'm like, you can absolutely do it. Like I just expounded on it just a little bit, but I completely forgot until just now when the book just like, boom, came to my attention. Because I didn't read all the way through it, just because sometimes I realize when I read and there's talismans and things in here, sometimes it's like things like activate. And I have to be careful now until I can really understand and get that under control. You know what, you're right. Then it might be possible, Tabitha. I'm still having a little bit of problem with that. But you're absolutely right. Now that we're talking about this, and the phantom pregnancy can be possible. And now if we're looking at it from this light, okay, so now let me get to this. In the Gallery of Magic, remember the Gallery of Magic, there's a teacher, Damon Brand. I like him. I think he's balanced all the way across the board, and he teaches you about magic. We call it magic for lack of a better word or better terms, but it's literally spiritual principles that they're operating on, and those less learned or we'll call them undereducated, call it magic, but it's really principles of the universe, things that you can put in place and being able to operate and operate in tandem with our brethren and sisters who are there, who are in the unseen realm, right? And they help you. So I'm just like, okay, so you got to be careful. But listen, this book right here, now Christians will completely stay away from it because of the title, right? But remember, titles are gatekeepers as well. And they use different names for different things, right? So, but this one is called Demons of Magic. That's what it looks like. It's in the Gallery of Magic, right? But what this teaches you is how to do exactly what this is talking about, how to emanate beings directly from you, literally to do your bidding. Now they tell you this right here, like I like them, and you can read through it for information. I say read it for educational purposes because you're going to understand a different level or a higher level, higher laws of spirituality. But when people start learning about this, and especially if they haven't been cleaning up their spirits and getting closer with Creator and literally walking in paths of light and life, they tend to fall over by default to the false God's kingdom, and they start doing evil things, right? So the information in here, and he tells you, he explains it, and he tells you not to use it for that. But just like they make some of the other laws and spiritual principles clear of magic, it wouldn't be right if they didn't give you the other side, the other balance of it as well. But they say these principles, they can be used as good, but at least understand them, right? So you can realize you can understand some things when it happened. But this right here, but also think about King Solomon and his 72 demons, right? That helped him build things. This goes into depth about this, right? Because the subtext is 3 practical rituals for working with the 72 demons, right? And it talks about King Solomon and how his temple was built and the different demons that were helping him, which is really false gods and false lords, which were once human beings here on the earth, or maybe some other planet or whatever, however you want to look at it, right? But they were once like us. And so that's what this talks about. And it has sigils and stuff and how to do it. But literally, you can create something. And this book calls them servitors, right? It's your servants that you emanate from you to do your bidding, to serve you, to do all of those things. Babe, that's Elijah. So, but that is true. Like, as we're reading through this, all of this knowledge that I have is coming together, right? So don't get it for any nefarious practices. I say get it to increase your understanding of spiritual principles and what can actually be done. Because if they can do it on the evil side, you have to know it's possible on the righteous side as well, right? But people, once they start understanding some higher spiritual laws, that's one thing they absolutely have to fight against. Because to some people, you would seem to be becoming this supernatural person like Jesus was, because you understand some higher laws and principles. And that's what this does, right? But don't get pulled in and find yourself off of the path of creator and growth, right? Don't get the big head, oh, I can do this, and start using it to amass money to yourself, because you can, right? And be honest, you can use it for that. Would I recommend that? Absolutely not. And for me, when I look at this, that's why I choose to stay. Anything that has, that's what kind of keep me in check all the way through. Whatever money we make is going to come through the work of our hands, our business, the physical labor, the intellectual things that we do for our business or whatever. But when it comes to learning spiritual laws, I'm not, that's a vow. That's a part of that's a vow that I take, because right now, that's the only way that I can keep myself off of that road to becoming like, drop something in a plate when you leave out the doors of my church. I want to stay away from that. I want to stay away from that by all means necessary, which is why I would not. And it's a lot of people, hey, sis, can we send you something? We thank you for your time. I would not accept any money from anybody. I'm not going to give y'all a PayPal. I'm not going to give y'all a Cash App. That's just a vow that I made with the Creator. I will not accept anything from anybody. If you want to bless me with anything, find somebody close to you. First, check your family. Is there somebody in your family that has need of something? Take what you were going to bless me with and bless your own bloodline. Bless your own flesh and blood. If you ain't got none, nobody's near, find the closest neighbor. Just do it that way, right? And I would be honored if you do it that way, because Creator blesses us in our household, right? So that's one way to stay away from the big head and all of this stuff. And we need money for the building. God, the Lord gonna bless you. We building this building. We found the property, right? I feel a certain type of way about all of that, right? Okay. Yes, I understand it. It is possible. Just to give you a lot of insight into that, as well as what we're going to be learning here. So let me put this back. All right. Okay, so I forgot about that. It came to me again. But yeah, I told you guys my nephew friend mother was pregnant for months. Then it disappeared and she was not pregnant anymore. It blew me away, but my mother understood such things. Hey, look, I'm the newcomer to the party. I'm still learning. Yeah, or a family in need or a homeless person, right? Nazarene is saying, yeah, just bless somebody else. Bless somebody else, right? This is my work of service to the Creator. Nobody else. I know we come here have fun and shenanigans and stuff, but it was a vow that I've taken years ago. All right, okay, let's go back here. Hold on. Where we at? Okay, we're gonna finish reading this chapter, y'all, and we're gonna pause. Woo. Yo, it's 139 verses. Okay. We'll be done about 15 minutes. We'll be done. Okay. It's 139 verses. We're literally on verse 16. Okay. All right. Verse 16, which is why Jah himself emanated Jade without intercourse with Jala, and why Jala herself emanated Jannah without intercourse with Jah. And this is why Jah said, when Jade, the only directly begotten son of Jah, has union with Jannah, he will take within himself the feminine element of Jala and will then always be of both Jah and Jala. Let me read that again. Verse 17, and that is why Jah said, when Jade, the only directly begotten son of Jah, has union with Jannah, he will take within himself the feminine element of Jala and will then always be of both Jah and Jala. And this is why Jala said, when Jannah, the only directly begotten daughter of Jala, has union with Jade, she will take within herself the masculine element of Jah, and then will always be of both, and will then always be of both Jah and Jala. Reminds me when we talk about soul ties, right? And people becoming a part of you, start acting like you, literally take their essence inside of you, right? This is good. And something else, oh my gosh. Yaki said something in one of his most recent videos. You know, I want to say it was the interview with Tasha K, where he mentioned it before, but I think it was that interview. I posted it for y'all a couple days ago. If y'all haven't watched it, y'all have to go watch it. But he started talking about how men and women who are married, or not just married, you have an intercourse with somebody, you've been with them for a while, from a scientific, molecular, interstitial, all them words y'all keep using, on that type of level, getting down to the molecular interstitial, y'all can tell I ain't no scientist, I ain't no biochemist. Getting down to those levels, what happens, because you're swapping body fluids, right? You're literally taking the DNA of the man. The woman is literally taking the DNA inside of her. And at the same time, the man is taking inside of himself the DNA of the woman. And it begins to, over time, begins to change things. Just like it's the same. I'm just understanding so much more as the days go on. Just like if you eat vegetables or if you eat fruit, say if you do a mono fruit feast, we'll stop calling it a fast. Fast is abstaining from stuff. A feast, you're feasting on it. Say you do like a 30-day fruit feast or apple feast for 30 days, right? Or no, let's say 90 days. I think it's 90 days. Every 90 days, your cells are regenerated, right? If for 90 days you eat nothing but apples, you're literally changing the DNA on the inside of you in a way, and it's going to change your makeup, and your body is going to begin to transform from the inside out. Not that you're going to have different kind of kidneys and all that. No, but it literally changes how they operate, making them more efficient and everything. And it literally lengthens your life. I'm like, this is amazing. So I got bits and pieces of what I thought was random information now coming together the more I study and am exposed to more things. And now my random pieces of information aren't so random anymore. And I can actually take them now and fit them into the puzzle that I have now expanded. And now, wait a minute, I already have those pieces. Wait, oh, snap. What? right? So remember, we got this table here. Put everything on the table. We got the trash can. We got the tray, which is the most immediate things that we need to keep right here. The things that we ain't jiving with us so hot right now, don't put it in the trash. You ain't even got to leave it on the table. That's why we have a shelf. Take it and put it on the shelf. Don't get rid of it because we might need them pieces, but we don't know what we don't know yet, right? Until we get what we don't know, then we're going to realize what was so random actually fits here. We just need to keep going a little bit further, right? Look, right, look, hold on. Yes, you can read a book with words you don't know. That's how you learn to read. Hold on, you was talking to Elizabeth. But yeah, it does. It aids in the couple becoming as one flesh. There's the meaning to becoming one is so amazing when it really sinks down in the depths of your shanana, right? Because people think, boom, we married, we won. No. You just got married paper, you did a ceremony, but the process of becoming is a process of years, right? And a lot of people don't make it through the first phases of the becoming process, right? They don't make it that far and they don't understand what becoming is. It's literally a process going through merging souls, making them as one. And it's a lot of kickbacks, a lot of things you got to deal with. You got to be in harmony, symmetry. You have to learn how to make perfect music with one another in more areas than one, right? And sex is just the way we plug into one another on the physical level. But when it should teach you, the physical level should teach you how to plug in on a spiritual level, which when you plug in, if you understand the actual semblance of the plugging into one another, that when you physically plug in, if you understand, you can ascend higher spiritually. And while you're plugged in physically, you can literally both tap in and be plugged in spiritually, right? Yeah, we ain't talking about that yet. We're going to get to it. But we ain't even got to that yet. Okay, they call that sex magic. It ain't magic though, for real. It's just higher laws operating above lower laws. All right, hold on. Because I think Bro James be hiding in your raps. All right, y'all, listen. Okay. Verse 18. And that is why Jala said, when Janah, the only directly begotten daughter of Jala, has union with Jade, she will take within herself the masculine element of Jah and will then always be of both Jah and Jala. And Jah and Jala agreed they will be creators and they will be saviors, for they will create beings and they will save beings according to our will. Yea, they shall be the hands of mercy that will reach out to those who have stumbled upon the golden ladder. Hold on, let me see if I can. Just me, shalom, shalom. Let me see if I can. Hold on. Because one my. Hold on. Can I take my name off so it's not showing all the time? I see some people doing it. I don't want it to show all the time on the whole video. I don't know. Okay. I know a whole nother level. Okay. All right. I'll figure it out. And Jah and Jala agreed they will be creators and they will be saviors, for they will create beings and they will save beings according to our will. Yea, they shall be hands of mercy that will reach out to those who have stumbled upon the golden ladder. For lo, not all will choose wisely within the great freedom, and we desire to reach out from heaven most high, even to those in most low hell. Yea, we shall reach out to every world within the mother ovum, and Jade and Janah will be our hands. Jah and Jala agreed We are the two that are one, and the one that is two. And with our only begotten children, Jade and Jana, we become four, united as one. The four are the first family, and within the first family are two gods and two goddesses. Ja is God transcendent, and Jade is God immanent. Jala is goddess transcendent, and Jana is goddess immanent. So one is spirit, one is flesh. But even the first flesh was better than this current flesh. Okay. Verse 26. Yea, we are the first family, and the first family is an expanding family. For the four expand to become the all. And the name of our family is the name of the all. And the name of the all is Yahweh. And it has the tetragrammaton. Remember, don't get all chopped and screwed. If you miss the deeper understanding of the tetragrammaton, Yahweh, remember when you turn on the side, Yahweh encompasses the entire family, male and female, right? That was amazing. I got to go back to that. I think that was day two of reading this. Listen, verse 26. Yea, we are the first family, and the first family is an expanding family. For the four expand to become the all, and the name of our family is the name of the all, and the name of the all is Yahweh. And that name is the name that includes all names. Therefore, that name is Hashem. And we also got into Hashem as well and how it relates to Yahweh. Behold, all beings are part of all being, a part of Yahweh. Yet each being is also an individual being, a self. For this was the gracious wish of Yah, that each being have the joy of being an individual being, and that each being have the joy of being part of the all being that is one. Yahweh is one from many, and many from one. This. Turning y'all, this is Yahweh Yod He Wah-He or Yod He Vav-He turned vertically, which looks like a human, and it encompasses all, male and female, not just a male dominant society, right? That's imbalanced and improperly taught. Yahweh is one from many and many from one. Lo, within the infinite field of all possibilities, there were countless ways by which creation might have been created. But from amongst all those ways, Jah and Jala chose their way. Yea, this was the way of Jah and Jala, are Jah. And they knew it was good, and they felt it was good, and it was good. Having conceived their plan, Jah and Jala activated their plan. Yea, in transcendental embrace, Jah and Jala are Jah, set in motion their plan. And their plan was their way, and their way was good. Behold, Jah created the mother ovum to be the house of learning, work, and play. Yea, even the house of choosing, for all must be free to accept or reject Jah. And within that house are many houses, right? Remember, all are free with Christianity. Well, you accept Jesus or you're going to hell. Like, really? You're going to bully me into this choice, huh? Or you going to make me feel bad? You use a Jedi mind trick on me. Behold, Jah created the mother ovum to be the house of learning, work, and play. Yea, even the house of choosing, for all must be free to accept or reject Jah. And within that house are many houses. Lo, in the following manner, Jah created the mother ovum. Jah was all. There was no place that was not Jah, so that there would be space for others to be. Jah performed Zimzum, self-constriction. And after Zimzum is spelled Tzimtzum. And it's reference number 8. And reference number 8 at the bottom says, the Hebrew word Zimzum means constriction, and in this context implies self-constriction. Jah performed, let's start over. Jah was all. There was no place that was not Jah, so that there would be space for others to be. Jah performed Zimzum, self-constriction. Yea, Jah, self-constricted, condensing to a point of Jah. And the space where Jah had been before, Zim, the space from which Jah had withdrawn, was a void of empty space. And this was according to the will of Jah. Jah was now one point and the center of a void of empty space. The one point was the oneness of Jah and Jala in embrace. Lo, the one point was the merging of the two that are one and the one that is two for the purpose of creative expansion. For though the original condition of Yah was one was always pregnant with two, and two with three, and three with four, and this is Yahweh, the all, that is many and one in many. I love that. This whole book gonna be high lit up. Verse 60. At the center of the void, Jah spoke one holy word, Jade, and Jade came forth as the word of Jah. And at the center of the void, Jala exhaled one holy breath, Jana, and Jana came forth as the breath of Jala. And Jah beheld, knew, and loved Jade and Jana. And Jade and Jana beheld, knew, and loved Jah. So when they created them, when they emanated them from their being, they just breathed out. Or they said the name, breathed out, right? Hold on. At the center of the void, Jah spoke one holy word, Jade. And Jade came forth as the word of Jah. And at the center of the void, Jala exhaled one holy breath, Jana. And Jala came forth as the breath of Jala. So the breath probably didn't say, but said the name as a breath, right? Vibration emanating from it. And Jah beheld, knew, and loved Jade and Jana. And Jade and Jana beheld, knew, and loved Jah. Yea, and Jala beheld, knew, and loved Jade and Jana. And Jade and Jana beheld, knew, and loved Jala. Then lo, Jade beheld, knew, and loved Jana. And Jana beheld, knew, and loved Jade. They all loving one another, right? Just going, I love you, you love me. Jade, Jana, Jala, Jade, Jala, Ja. We one. That's what all that just said. Verse 68. Lo, when Jade and Jana beheld and knew Jah, they beheld and knew all that Jah is, was, and will be. Yea, Jade and Jana beheld and knew the divine plan, which is the plan of Jah, and understood their own roles in that plan. Verse 70. Behold, they knew that the plan of Jah was engraved within them and through them, and would be engraved within all that will come into being. For Jade is the word of Jah, which is the cognitive light of Jah. And within his light is the cognitive awareness of the plan. And Jana is the breath of Jala, which is the intuitive light of Jah. And after the breath of Jala is reference number 9. And down at the bottom, reference number 9 says, the Hebrew word here translated as breath is ruah, right? Or in the Hebrew community, you hear ruach or ruach hakodesh, ruah, breath, right? The Hebrew word here translated as breath is ruah. Literally, ruah means breath, but it's sometimes translated as spirit, depending on the context. The Hebrew term that we see translated into English as Holy Spirit is Ruach HaKodesh, which literally means holy breath. Thus, Jana is the Holy Spirit. Listen here, because look, I just thought about somebody. Remember, what's his face? Big Judah, when he started doing this, man, people talking about, oh, you calling the Holy Spirit she and a holy earthly mother. Like, he started doing all that and people was tripping, right? But there's a lot of truth in what he was saying. A lot of people may not like his presentation on some things. Even now, like, bro, I don't know about all that. but I hadn't understood a lot of what I understand now, especially in this last year. It's amazing. Listen, let me keep reading. The Hebrew word here translated as breath is ruah. Literally, ruah means breath, but it's sometimes translated as spirit, depending on the context. The Hebrew term that we see translated into English as Holy Spirit is ruah hakodesh, which literally means holy breath. Thus, Jannah is the Holy Spirit. The name Jannah is a Nazarene feminine form of the Hebrew name Jonah, which means dove. This is why the Holy Spirit is often symbolized as a dove in biblical literature. Right, just like the sound Ioa, right, which is the sound of the wind, the sound of the creators. It's vibration, it's sound. Okay, let's go back up. Verse 73, and Jannah is the breath of Jallah, which is the intuitive light of Jaja. And within her light is the intuitive awareness of the plan. And the word and breath of Jaja are two and one and two. And within the masculine light is a portion of the feminine light. And within the feminine light is a portion of the masculine light. And when they embrace in sacred intercourse, the feminine light and the masculine light become the super light of Yah. I'll read that again. And when they embrace in sacred intercourse, the feminine light and the masculine light become the supernal, Supernal, the supernal light of Yah. For behold, the original condition of Yah contain Jah and Jallah, and within Jah and Jallah were Jadeh and Jannah, right? The two becoming one. Lo, Jadeh and Jannah are God eminent and goddess eminent, first daughter and first son of Jaja, only directly begotten children of Jah and Jallah, word of Jah and breath of Jallah, masculine light and feminine light of Jaja, having beheld and known the plan of Jaja, and having realized the plan was engraved within themselves, and having realized their own roles in the plan, love the plan of Jaja, our God transcendent, and God is transcendent, and gave thanks for their roles within that plan. Yea, Jadeh and Jannah gave thanks and offered joyful praises to Jaja. Verse 81. Before leaving Jadeh on the throne of masculine light at the center of empty space, and before leaving Jannah on the throne of feminine light at the center of empty space, to ascend their own thrones in heaven most high, which heaven is outside the mother ovum and surrounds the mother ovum, Jaja anointed them with the water of life, which is of the tears of Jaja. Now, something that I remember reading in Black Root Science, when it's talking about the marriage and the coming together of the man and a woman, and how it used to be, and making sure when they connect. When they have sex the first time, they literally lock in spiritually the first time they do it. It's amazing to me. Like, I literally thought about that. I'm like, yo, so this is kind of like what that was talking about. I got to go through and listen to it again. But it's amazing. And it goes through and explains it. And at first, when I read it, now we're going to get through here. We're going to talk about it, because we're going to get to that, and we're going to read that too. But at first, when I read it, because of our society today, it has overly sexualized in the wrong way, right? It was like, oh, that kind of sounds like porn to me, right? But what it says is that the first time the husband and the wife, they come together and they consummate the marriage, that there is an elder couple there, right? And I'm like, what? They watching them like they was there in the next room so they can come out and show them the bed sheets that she was a virgin, right? My whole Christian mind thinking, make sure she wasn't playing the part of a whore in her father's house. You hear the sheet, she was a virgin, the hymen is broken, proof of the blood is on the sheet, right? So I'm like, well, why was they there? But they were there, not in the next room. According to that, it actually says they were there. Now, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with it, but I'm just saying it kind of makes sense now. And what they said, that there's an elder couple there who have, and not just older, but been married and literally walking in spiritual principles to teach them early, like when they get married, how to connect, not just physically with their male and woman parts, but when they literally join one another, when they hook up to one another. It's that, but they also want to make sure that when they hook in, that they hook in spiritually as well, right? And so if it didn't happen the first time they came together and consummated the marriage, where the spiritual lights went off, because it's literally like, we may read that a little, I don't know when, but when they come together, and me and my husband, like, I mean, everybody should be practicing it, right? But I'm just saying, there is like this spiritual thing when you're both on the same level, and you literally can open up the realm of the spirit to you both, and it literally can flow into the both of you, right? Listen, so they're there, and they said if it doesn't happen the first time, after that they'll stop. They're gonna consummate the marriage again, but they're gonna go back and they're gonna work with them individually, not like with their sexual parts, but literally thinking about things and the purpose of coming together and what you create when you bring the bodies, not just the bodies, but the spirits together, and how you grow and produce children and the wisdom and stuff, and how you are to learn to be able to pull teachings out of the spirit with this, because it's a process. It's literally a tool. Our bodies are tools, but it goes into that. So they will go through it and also make sure that they were mentally ready. Are you like any like reservations, like all of those things they work through, right? Just to make sure, trying to see why it didn't work. It's literally like you're in the science lab testing stuff, right? And you coach them. But to make sure, okay, this, and because they had teaching and understanding of what this was. And so then the second time they go back, they said there's never been a time where they had to do it more than twice. Of course, they engaged throughout the marriage, they engaged in sexual intercourse. But like the first time, if it didn't happen where the spiritual lights came on as well, like take you in the next level of spiritual understanding and growth, it would definitely happen the second time. That's how good the teachers were. The elders, the husbands and the wife, teaching the other husbands and the wife, the newly married, how to do this. And this is how the marriage lasted. They were actually substance, and they were like, that's what you call power, literally power couples, right? Because they was able literally to tap in, and the growth process in this level of school, and you just go on and grow there. I wonder how hard it is when you are spiritually unyoked. It is extremely hard, right? Now you'll get your feels and all that stuff, but spiritually, for that level, you both must be in tune, right? I mean, you both have to be in tune. Now there can be like, if okay, so your spiritual understanding may be higher than your spouse, but they're getting there, and they're understanding, and they want to get there. You can actually help them to accelerate a lot faster, like if they're willing, like, and if they're into it. But if they're just like, I'm doing my thing, and I don't believe none of this spiritual crap you be talking about anyway, I'm about to go to work. It's gonna be really hard, right? It's gonna be really hard. Not saying give up on your marriage or just kick them to the wayside. Show some patience with them, right? It's just it's a process. I know, I understand. I've been there, absolutely been there, right? But I would say you literally, some people, you just got to work at it. This is where, like for sake of sounding like some of the Christian doctrines, but I found it to be true. Really, love truly conquers all. Like, seriously. I know it's like overused and it's badly shown in some ways, and you see in movies, and it seems like the woman is always getting run over, but that just like, sometimes that's true, but sometimes they don't really show how powerful love can be. And not saying when you loving somebody, you should let somebody beat on you or disrespect you. No, love has boundaries. Love has firmness and toughness and saying things. Love know how to pull away to allow you to grow, if I'm saying that the right way. But it's like this an agape love. But love truly does conquer all. It really does. And a lot of times, especially if you come into marriages and you're unequally yoked, what the churches call it. Some people don't have the patience. They don't have their whole love walk worked out on the inside of them, where they can stand through all the shenanigans that their spouse may be putting them through, or the shenanigans they both may be committing inside of the marriage or whatever. And some people just don't have any patience, right? Love also develops patience in one another, self-control, tolerance. Like, seriously, I agree with some of the stuff in the Bible because the principles are true, but it is hard. I would say it is hard when they both are not on the same page, but Nazarene and Saint just keep trucking along, right? Keep trucking along. But I would, yeah, that topic is badly taught sometimes by some people, right? Because it looks like love makes you look weak in a kind of way, but it really doesn't. And I changed my outlook on it. I grew a whole lot by reading through Owaspy, because Owaspy literally teaches you how to embody that love against those who are, I'm just like, whoo, because think about some of the gods. So they was like, bro, that I'm going off to do my thing. The gods and the goddesses, they deal with the same thing with the ones who go left, right? Want to be false gods. And it's literally their love that saves them. When they're in a hell knot, they literally come, and it's that love. When they get to the bottom of themselves, at the bottom of that hell knot, it's literally that love that breaks through and save them. And that's what they see. I'm just like, yo, like, we got this all chopped and screwed, what love truly really is. Like, I haven't read anything that makes that more clear than Owaspy. At this point in my life, it just changed my whole trajectory and outlook. And I'm just like, man, wow. Those are my words. Those are my thoughts. Like, wow. So, okay. Let's hurry up, y'all. Who was that verse? 83? No. 82. 82. Okay. Hold on, let me close this. Okay. All right. Verse 82. Yea, these tears were shed because Jah and Jah so loved the world. Listen, look. Yea, these tears were shed because Jah and Jah so loved the world that they gave their only begotten children as hands of mercy, who are Christ's Messiahs, even knowing that they would be crucified again and again repeatedly and in diverse ways upon the countless crosses of countless realms and worlds of endless space and time by those who, within the context of the great freedom, would make unwise choices, resulting in fathomless pain and sadness, resulting in merciful intervention in the darkness of ignorance by the word and breath of mercy, which are the Lord Christ and Lady Christ. Wow. Right here at the beginning of the verse where it says, they gave their only begotten children as hands of mercy, who are Christ's Messiahs. After Christ's Messiahs is reference number 10. And down at the bottom, it says, the English word Christ is from the Greek word Christos, which means anointed. The Greek Christos is a translation of the Hebrew word Mashiach, which means anointed. The English word Messiah is from the Hebrew Mashiach. Thus, all these words mean the same thing, anointed. In the ancient days, when a king sent a messenger or representative on a mission in his name or consecrated a person to a high office, he anointed them, usually their head, with oil. Thus, any person sent on a mission by the king was a Mashiach, and as was anyone else who experienced this sort of anointing ritual. Hold on. Yeah. As was anyone else who experienced this sort of anointing ritual. However, when we speak of the Mashiach, We are speaking of a special messenger of a special king. We are speaking of the messenger of King Queen Jah. In the Nazarene tradition, we are speaking only of the only begotten son of Jah and the only begotten daughter of Jah, Jade and Janah. They are the Lord Christ and the Lady Christ. And they were, as we will learn in an upcoming verse, anointed not with ordinary oil, but with the water of life, which is the tears of Jah, which are the tears of compassion. That is amazing. Okay. Verse 83. Lo, the water of life is the tears of Jah, which are the tears of compassion, shed not only for Jade and Janah, but for all beings who will ever experience pain for any reason, deserve or not, in all the realms and all the times of fathomless duration within the mother ovum. Yea, but the tears of Jah are also tears of joy, shared in the awareness that the great pain of evolution will be transcended by countless beings who, over the course of fathomless duration, will pierce ovum after ovum, eventually piercing even the mother ovum, right? We talk about there's multiple births, the different ovums you coming in through. You coming out of your father, then the sperm goes into the mother, then it goes into the mother's ovaries, and then she's birthed or he's birthed. You know, it's just a cycle of constant birth and rebirth, right? We're constantly, but through different phases as we go up and we progress higher. There are constant births and constant new births. Well, oh shoot, yeah, because we're born, and then at the next level we're born again, and then the next level next ovum we pierce, we're born again, and all of these rebirth. Oh snap! They just hit me in a different way. Hold up, let me go back. Look, okay, boom. Verse 84. Yea, but the tears of Jah are also tears of joy, shared in the awareness that the great pain of evolution will be transcended by countless beings who, over the course of fathomless duration, will pierce ovum after ovum, eventually piercing even the mother ovum, joining Jah and Jala in heaven most high as friends and co-workers and playmates, and joining Jade and Janah as Christ Messiahs for the salvation of all sentient beings, right? You come back and you just helping along the way. Come on, you can do it. We like coaches along the way. Behold, there is no pain or sadness in heaven most high, which is the ultimate paradise conceived by Jah, neither oppressive heat nor freezing cold, neither war nor crime, jealousy or revenge, envy or rage, not even death. There is no evil or hurtful thing in heaven most high, only joyful and wise things. And this is because only joyful and wise beings of great integrity reside in heaven most high. Owaski says that, right? It tells us about how you ain't coming up there corrupting a house as you get certain levels. Like, matter of fact, in the book of Apollo, it talks about the brides and bridegrooms that, like, when you reach this level, they've already worked out these lower levels, the evils and the attitudes. They've been surpassed that level. That was literally in the reading today. Listen, there is no evil or hurtful thing in heaven most high, only joyful and wise things. And this is because only joyful and wise beings of great integrity reside in heaven most high. And lo, the way they become such beings, yea, by free choice, is through the will of evolution, which is the mother ovum. Behold, Jade and Janah rejoice in the promise of Jala, which is the promise of the blessed day of play. Play. Behold, Jade and Janah rejoice in the promise of Jala, which is the promise of the blessed day of play, so that Jade and Janah and all of their Christed brethren and sisterin to come These Christed brethren and sistren are those beings who pierce the mother ovum, and after a time of refreshment in heaven most high, return to the mother ovum as Christ Messiah to assist the work of Jade and Jannah. The supreme Christ will have times of uninterrupted sweet communion with Jaja in heaven most high, without the responsibilities of guiding evolving worlds and without the sadness of seeing the results of unwise choices made by unwise beings, and without the pain of the various crucifixions and persecutions that every Christ Messiah will experience as they render merciful service in evolving worlds. Jaja will periodically suspend all activity within the mother ovum. Wow. Listen, Owaspi agrees with that. It really does. Okay, we almost done, y'all. We're on verse 89. Yea, all activity within the mother ovum will be suspended, and all beings who are not yet Christed will sleep. And while the mother ovum sleeps, Jade and Jannah and their Christed brethren and sistren will enjoy a fathomless duration of play and communion with Jaja in heaven most high, which surrounds the mother ovum. Behold, the sleep of suspended activity will not harm the unchristed beings left within the mother ovum. Lo, they will each be as though frozen in time until the next cycle of activity begins. Yea, then they will resume their evolutionary activities and perhaps will pierce the mother ovum and be Christed during this grand cycle, that they may participate in the great play with Jala at the end of this cycle. I don't understand all that. We're going to keep reading. It's going to probably explain it all. And each grand cycle of activity within the mother ovum is a day of expansion. And each period of suspended activity within the mother ovum is a night of rest for those still unchristed within the ovum. And each period of play with Jaja in the most high heaven is a day of play. And each grand cycle of activity and each night of rest and each day of play are of fathomless duration, though those experiencing the night of rest will not be conscious of that duration. Behold, the blessed day of play is a special dispensation for Jade and Jannah and all their Christed brethren and sistren to come, by which they may enjoy divine play in heaven most high with Jala. But lo, think not that this special dispensation is the only time that Jade or Jannah or another Christed being or any other being, whether Christed or not, may enjoy communion with Jala. All beings have within themselves the presence of Jaja. For behold, after anointing Jade and Jannah with the water of life, and after delivering them to the promised blessed day of play, Jaja revealed the mystery of inner communion with heaven most high. Within you, Jade and Jannah is a holy center that connects the mother ovum with heaven most high. Yea, there lives Etzcham with the tree. Hold on. Yea, there lives Etzcham, the tree of life, with 7 branches and 7 roots, its center branch reaching up to touch heaven most high. It's talking about the chakras, right? In the body, the tree of life, which is the spine from the root to the crown, right? Hold on. It gives a reference. Etzcham, Chaim, right? It's reference number 11. Down at the bottom, Etzcham is Hebrew for tree of life. Yea, there lives Etzcham, the tree of life, with 7 branches and 7 roots, its center branch reaching up to touch heaven most high. Yea, that branch reaches up through countless ovums and through countless realms and pierces through the mother ovum to touch heaven most high. And all beings that you create, which will be every being ever created, for you were not created, but were emanated, and will be created in your embryonic image and likeness. Thus will all beings have at the center of their being the tree of life. And at the center of our being literally is the tree of life, our spine, right? Thus, all beings will have a centermost branch that passes through the center of all centers and touches heaven most high, thereby connecting all beings with Supreme Being. And though it may take fathomless duration for some beings to climb to the top of the center branch and step out of the mother ovum into heaven most high, for this branch is a golden ladder of countless rungs. One need only touch that branch at the center of oneself to experience divine communion with Jah. Like when we meditate, there's different. Let me keep going. Y'all get it, right? Hold on. Uh-oh, my mouse. Hold on. I'll start at the beginning of 105. And though it may take fathomless duration for some beings to climb to the top of the center branch and step out of the mother ovum into heaven most high, for this branch is a golden ladder of countless rungs. One need only touch that branch at the center of one's self to experience divine communion with Jah. For behold, Jah and Jala are at the top of that branch, and send the energy of Jah down that branch to enliven the mother ovum. Yea, and through that branch, Jah is always connected to every being, even those beings in hell realms of their own making. Remember Owaspi was talking about that? Like whatever religious faction you get into and you believe that this is where you're going when you die, the hell of your own making, that's where you go. And the ones who have that same like thinking that are there, they're the ones that greet you. They're the ones that greet you when you get to your remedial class, right? But they're not left there like Christianity teaches you can burn forever. No, light still comes for you. Ain't nobody left in hell forever or burn forever. Matter of fact, there's a couple fires according to Owaspi down there, the fires that the shenaniganizer set to wall you in. And also when light comes to deliver the hells, they also they bring rods of fire and water, because there's spirits who have degraded so low that now they are deranged, and to keep them kind of quarantined or keep them from running, they build a wall of fire around them so they can't get out. I mean, it explains it better than that. So, so you can understand it. There's a higher light, a higher fire that radiates brighter than their current spirit is, and it keeps them in because they're darkened. Remember, and you will see those who are darkened, that light hurts them and they just kind of cower in, and they feel like they're trapped, but they're not. But it's for their own protection, so they can lead them to a place where they can be restored and brighten them up, get rid of all that darkness. Right? I love the way Owaspi teaches about hell, to where as Christian, they just scare you. Don't go to hell. You're going to burn forever. Right? Let's really break down what hell is. Okay. Listen. Verse 106. For behold, Jah and Jala are at the top of that branch, and send the energy of Jah down that branch to enliven the mother ovum. Yea, and through that branch, Jah is always connected to every being, even those beings in hell realms of their own making. Lo, such beings might not know or love Jah, and such beings may be unaware of their interconnection to Jah, but Jah knows and loves all beings and is always connected to all beings by the center branch of the tree of life. And with each ovum a being pierces, that being climbs a bit higher upon that branch, and the higher a being climbs, the deeper and more stable is the communion with Jah. So you hear clear, you can tap right in, right? You know how to just get in that sweet spot and get the information you need spiritually, right? But they ain't just gonna give you everything either. It's time for you to grow up, be a little bit responsible. Use the tools we didn't already taught you about, right? Use them. You'll be able to get the answer. But lo, there is only one way to see that branch, so that one may touch and climb that branch, and that is the supernal light of Yah, which is the fruit of the intermarriage of the masculine light of Jade and the feminine light of Jah-na. We almost done, y'all. We're on verse 112, and it's 139 verses. I'm gonna let him get ice. Right. Thank you, Nazarene. Seeing they use fire to help, not hurt. It's that controlled fire. Remember, we talk about you can use fire to hurt, but you can also use fire to control growth and different things. Like they use bigger fires to slow down raging forest fires. They literally will build a fire that they control to control the outrageous forest fire that's burning down stuff. And that's literally what souls are. Like if you find yourself in hell realms, for lack of better words, they will build a controlled fire around you to guide you back to where you need to be, to where they can restore you, where your fire, your darkness can be purified and you can come out shining bright like a diamond. Okay. Verse 112. Oh, let me just do 111. Listen, this is getting good, y'all. 111. But lo, there is only one way to see that branch so that one may touch and climb that branch, and that is in the supernal light of Yah, which is the fruit of the inner marriage of the masculine light of Jade and the feminine light of Jah-na. So all straight masculine energy, this is something one of my older pastors, and I mentioned it before, he said, wherever you go to a church that's dead, the women are oppressed, right? And I found that to be true. Like you got old crusty preachers and deacons and stuff. All right, Brother Johnson gonna go and get up here and he's gonna tell us what the Lord been putting on his heart. He got something he wants to share with the congregation, and you got the old church mothers up there. And by this time, it's probably like 2 or 3 left, but it's crazy, right? But when the women are oppressed, like the creativity and everything, it really goes out because there's an imbalance. And it can happen the other way too, right? It can be imbalance where it's more feminine energy and no masculine energy, and that looks like a freak show too, right? So it's both out of balance, right? And which is why some of my Hebrew brethren and sisters with these camps and stuff, they talking about beat that hoe into submission. Like I heard somebody say that about his wife on a live. I'm like seriously calling their wives all kinds of names and stuff. And it's like the kitchen and the bedroom, floor to the kitchen and the bedroom. That's all you hear for. I'm just like, OMG. And it's a freak show. They don't believe it. They don't realize they look like a monster, but they do. They look like monsters. Listen. But lo, there is only one way to see that branch so that one may touch and climb that branch. And that is in the supernal light of Yah, which is the fruit of the inner marriage of the masculine light of Jade and the feminine light of Jah-na, meaning you have masculine and feminine, not just masculine or not just feminine, right? Otherwise, if you don't have the balance, listen, otherwise, verse 112, otherwise one will grasp in darkness and mistakenly climb the wrong tree, and climbing the wrong tree will eat the wrong fruit, and eating the wrong fruit will become heavy and ill and will tumble down the golden ladder. And behold, if through holy intuition in the light of Jah-na, a being sees the correct tree and grasps the center branch within oneself, but there is but one way to understand the voice of Jah, and that is through the word of Jah, which is Jade. Thus it is that to see and hear Jah correctly, one must stand and climb the golden ladder correctly, right? You got to do it the right way in order to get it's scientific. Thus, it is that to see and hear Jah correctly, one must stand and climb the golden ladder correctly. Yea, and regardless of what rung one stands upon, if one would climb higher rather than fall lower, And if one would climb the right tree rather than the wrong tree, one must hold on to both sides of the ladder. For every rung of the golden ladder is held in place by the two poles of the ladder. Think about it. Climbing a ladder, all right? Every rung is held in place by both sides, male and female. Balance is definitely the key. Yea, and regardless of what rung one stands upon, if one would climb higher rather than fall lower, and if one would climb the right tree rather than the wrong tree, one must hold on to both sides of the ladder, for every rung of the golden ladder is held in place by the two poles of the ladder. And one pole is Jade, the word of Jaja, which is the masculine light of Jaja, and the other pole is Jana, the breath of Jaja, which is the feminine light of Jaja. Yea, the rungs are held in place by the transcendental embrace of the two poles, for the two poles are divine masculine immanent and divine feminine immanent, which are the two that are one and the one that is two, immanent in creation for the purpose of creative expansion, ever united in being and purpose with God transcendent and God is transcendent. Thus, will no being in creation truly commune with Jaja, God and God is transcendent, except through Jade and Jana, God and Goddess immanent. For it is only by performing the intercourse of Jade and Jana within the royal bedchamber, which is within. For it is only by performing the intercourse of Jade and Jana within the royal bedchamber, which is within, that the ladder of golden light, which is the center branch of the tree of life, may be climbed. One more time. Let me read it. Verse 120. For it is only by performing the intercourse of Jade and Jana within the royal bedchamber, which is within, that the golden ladder, which is the center branch of the tree of life, may be climbed. Behold, Jah and Jala did embrace Jade and Jana at the center of the mother ovum, together in embrace. The four were as one point in Zimzum. Yea, this was Yahweh in constriction. Then, in accordance with their plan, Jah and Jala, goddess and goddess transcendent, went to surround the circumference of the mother ovum, leaving Jade and Jana, goddess and goddess immanent, as their emanations within the mother ovum. Jaja ascended. Hold on. That was gross. Hold on. All right. Verse 123. Jaja ascended from the center of the mother ovum to the circumference, piercing the circumference and surrounding the circumference. Lo, outside and surrounding the mother ovum, Jaja established heaven most high, the ultimate paradise. Behold, with their ascension from the creator of the mother ovum into heaven most high, Jaja left behind a trail for all to follow, and that trail is the golden ladder. And the golden ladder is also the center branch of the tree of life, the lights up and down the chakra, right? It is so important that we understand the Eastern practices of this and how they teach this. The West kind of teach you, so the devil's new age, stay away from it. Bruh, it's the tree of life. It's how you're going to connect to the creator. It's put there. Everybody has it. It can be proven and tested. Listen. And the golden ladder is also the center branch of the tree of life. Yea, the center branch is the path of ascension that leads from the center of every ovum to heaven most high. And this path must be walked in the word of Jaja, which is Jade, and in the breath of Jaja, which is Jana. Yea, this path is the center branch of the tree of life, that branch that passes through the center of every ovum and touches and pierces the outer shell of the mother ovum. Lo, the soul who sees this truth is the soul who gazes deeply inward. Such inward gazing is called Zafah, Tzafah. And after Zafah, it has reference number 12. And down at the bottom of page 24, it says, the Hebrew word Zafah means gaze, but is used by the Nazarenes to describe a type of meditation practice. Oh, got to learn how to meditate. Matter of fact, the Holy Bible tells you to meditate, right? Right? Learn how to meditate. Meditate on the words of the Creator day and night, that you may make your way successful before you. That's what he told to Joshua. Joshua chapter 1. Moses had just passed over until he turned it in. Now he leading. But there's a deeper story behind that, right? You can find that in Legends of the Jews, right? It's a much deeper story behind Joshua and Moses. And yeah, just got to go back. So it was really, really interesting. Listen, the Hebrew word Zafah means gaze, but is used by the Nazarenes to describe a type of meditation practice. The practice is a form of inner gazing that leads to self-realization and Yah consciousness. So go back up. Verse 131, I read again. Such inward gazing is called Zafah. In the creator of the mother ovum, in the center of the mother ovum, Jade and Jannah embraced in ecstasy. Lo, the word of Jaja and the breath of Jaja were united as one. Yea, Jannah felt and knew that the word of Jah was within her, and Jade knew and felt that the breath of Jala was within him. Yea, they are the two that are one, and the one that is two for creative expansion. And the name for their oneness is Kether, which means crown. For the king and queen are one in their embrace. And Kether has reference number 13, which is also the Yod in Yahweh, right? And this is the crown. When you turn the name of Yahweh, the tetragrammaton parallel, it looks like a human. And this at the top is crown, right? Represents the crown. Reference 13 at the bottom of the page, it says the Hebrew word Kether means crown and refers to the crown chakra, which is the spiritual seat of I am or Yah. Yah is neither male nor female, but includes both in unity, as indicated by the Hebrew spelling of the word Yah. In Hebrew, Yah is spelled with two letters, Yod, which represents the masculine principle, and Hey, which represents the feminine principle. Exactly why those letters represent the masculine and feminine principles will become clearer later in this text and is explained in detail in the subsequent footnote. All right, y'all. So let's go back. 136. And the name of their oneness is Kether, which means crown. For the king and the queen are one in their embrace. Look, me and my husband, we actually went and got tattoos a couple years ago. We both got crowns, right? I got King. I actually got him. I got King James on mine. He has Queen Pam on his arm. Oh, ain't that cute, right? Look. And the name for their oneness is Kether, which means crown. For the king and queen are one in their embrace. Yea, and the oneness is the original condition of even the perpetual condition of Yahweh. For every being is a part of the one ocean of being, and a name that declares that their oneness is a harmony of two-ness, and that their two-ness exists within their oneness. For the blessedness of being, according to the gracious wish, is Elohim. And after Elohim is reference number 14, and 14 says, the Hebrew word for Elohim is a plural name for deity. Literally, it means gods or God/goddess. The Nazarenes use the word Elohim in the latter sense, God, goddess, as a convenient way of referring to God and goddess eminent. So when they say Elohim, they definitely are talking about plural, but they're talking about the even balance of masculine energy and feminine energy. Like you could look at me and my husband and you can call us Elohim. God and Goddess together, one energy in our two-ness, and our two-ness is oneness. He's like me, but a little bit different, but in a complementary way. I love this book. Listen, read again. The Hebrew word for Elohim is a plural name for deity. Literally, it means gods or God / goddess. The Nazarenes use the word Elohim in the latter sense, God, goddess, as a convenient way of referring to God and goddess immanent. The Nazarenes do not use the word Elohim for God and goddess transcendent, instead using the term Jah or Jah. And so go back, I'm going to read this 138 again, and we're going to read the last verse, 139, and we're going to be done. And the name that declares that their oneness is a harmony of two-ness, and that their two-ness exists within their oneness for the blessedness of being, according to the gracious wish, is Elohim. For Elohim is a plural name by which we address Jadeh and Jannah with one name. And that, my beautiful people, is the end of our reading for today. This was so good today, right? This is so good. I'm glad y'all hung out. It is like 2 hours and 35 minutes. For me, it's been 3 hours because the whole half hour I was reading and thought I was live and wasn't. And finally somebody said, "Is Pam okay?" My mama started calling. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm talking to y'all. I'm like, do I really need to check out my listening skills? Do I just be talking all the time and not be listening to people? Like, that was really made clear today when I realized I had literally got done just about, if it had been like 2 more minutes, I would have finished reading Owaspy and was starting the Holy Megillah. I'm so glad my mama called. Look, text coming through. I'm like, clearly this is a sign of spiritual growth or something. I don't be paying attention. So I'm just, look, I'm still growing, y'all. So bear with a sister. Bear with a sister. Don't do me too bad. I'm still learning. I'll be the first to tell you, look, I'm a newcomer to the party. I'm just catching on to all of this stuff. So bear with me. If y'all can deal with my shenanigans and my mispronunciation of words and tearing stuff up, then y'all the real MVPs, right? We can work through this together. And I thank you, because I need you just like you need me. All right, beautiful people. That is it for today. It is Sunday, March the 26th, 2023. And it is literally, today is the last day of year 4. It is day 364 of year 4 of reading through books, laws, and prophets. And of the 4-year consecutive day count, it is day 1383. Today we read chapters 10 and 11 in the book of Apollo, son of Jehovah, in Owaspy, which was pages 105 to 107 in Big Blue. And then we hopped on over to the secret Nazarite scroll, which is called the Holy Megillah, right? And we read chapters 4 through 5 in the Nazarene book of Genesis. And that is actually pages 10 to 24 with all its footnotes. We read all the footnotes here, and we also read all the footnotes in Owaspy. Whatever book got footnotes inside, references, we read them all just to make sure we ain't missing anything and keeping everything in its proper context. So, Father, we thank you for learning about the ladder of light, and help us to make sure that we're always holding on to both sides of the ladder and climbing the appropriate tree so that we can stay on the path of life and light. All right, beautiful people. Yes, make it a great day. I love y'all. Yes, this is, hold on, my mouse. This was awesome. Great book. Very beautiful reading today. Tickler said. Ema said, make it a great day in the Creator's family. True soul food, right? Have a joyful day, everyone. Kindred said, Nazarene Scene said, creative gang, family lamb. We in the building. All right, y'all. I love y'all. And I don't think I missed any questions. I may have. Kendra said, I have been thoroughly edified, for real. All praises to the Creator. I know, right? This is so good. Today's reading was better than any church service I've ever sat in my life. I promise you. Listen. All right, y'all. That was a quick 15 minutes. Oh, look, because I said it'd probably be about 15 more minutes. Yeah. We sure would pass the 15 minutes. All right, y'all. That is it for today. I don't think I missed any questions. If I did, I'm sorry. All right, y'all. But that's it for today. So that's it. I'll see y'all back here tomorrow. Tomorrow will be day 1 of year 5 of reading through the books, laws, and prophets. But the consecutive day count will keep building, as you can see, right? We've been through multiple 364-year days. I'm sorry, 64. We just keep adding up the years, right? We'll say the individual year day, and we'll do the combined years, days. Y'all get what I'm trying to say, right? So tomorrow it'll be day 1 of year 5, but of the consecutive day count, it'll be day 1,384, right? I don't know. I just like to keep numbers so I can see growth in different ways, right? This was good, Derek. Everybody have a beautiful day today. Facebook user, who are you? No, that's my fault. Somebody help me out. How do I fix that? Those that are familiar with what is this we streaming from? StreamYard. How do you fix that? How do I fix that the setting for this? It told me how to do it, but I wasn't getting it. I can't figure it out. And it's probably so simple too. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how yet, but I'm gonna fix it in the next few days. Somebody just got to help me out with this. All right, y'all. So once we fix it, then it will no longer say Facebook user, right? It'll actually give the name of the person that it is, right? No, it is. It's a setting in there. They say it's like a privacy setting or something. I don't know. It could be because the group is private, but it showed me how to fix it. But I don't know. But if you're watching from the Facebook group that I'm streaming to, you can see everybody in there when they make comments. So hang on, let me see who that is. Hold on, let me see. Let me try real quick. So. Let's see.
So, as you got
group. Oh, that's Gloria. Hold on. Somebody said, Cameron, what's going on? Misha, you know what? That was probably Misha. I'm so sorry, y'all. Hold on. Let me see who over here. Okay, so the Facebook users probably have been different people commenting every time. So Gloria is over there. Misha is over there. Cameron is over there. Nazarene, the scene was going back and forth. Okay. Avia was over there. Okay, Gloria, Misha, Cameron, Nazarene, Jamil, Check, and Avia as well. Okay, so every time a Facebook user said hey or something like that, what did you do, son? Cut my light back on. That is the light for the video. Thank you. You know I'm working on my lighting. Okay. All right. Okay. So it was one of a few people that was over there. So thank you for that. Rob got a new Facebook, so he's gonna have to get back connected with you. Okay, cool. Tell him I said, what's up? Y'all gotta come hang out again. I know the last time it's full of shenanigans, right? You know, but maybe we were not gonna have the same type of shenanigans. I love y'all. Okay, y'all. With that being said, that's it, y'all. I'm out of here. I love y'all. I see y'all back here in the morning, bright and early, 6:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. We're about to end this broadcast with my thing again. I'm gonna make an outro too, y'all. So we ain't gonna do like the same one that I do coming in with the fair use jank. So we about to do this, and yeah, I'm gonna make another. Bye.